Tenet 13. This life is it. This life is a window of awareness as you exist as the universe aware of itself. You are fortunate to exist at all. Let's revisit the other tenets in order to understand this. The previous tenets imply that we exist exactly in the middle of an infinite continuum of change in this moment called now. The universe is infinite in its scope, and change will go on forever. We, however, do not. In order to understand this, we must know what we are. We exist in our brains very naturally as an awareness of ourselves and all that surrounds us. Before us, there exists an infinite past, and after us, an infinite future. As you read, you are probably doing the same thing that is happening to me as I write. You jump to the concept of death. That is the next tenet. This tenet is separated because life is so much different than death. This one and only life is the only chance you get to understand anything and to do everything. So, get on it. There are an infinite number of moments to experience and an infinite number of ways to experience those moments. You live on a planet with billions of other people and trillions upon trillions of other life forms. There are many places to see, languages to learn, sunsets and sunrises to soak in. Our lives are here on Earth. You learned in school that you have 5 senses. Smell, the most primitive and memorable. Sight, the most abused sense. Hearing, or audition, a lost art. And touch, the sense that numbs through time, not to mention taste. I am here to tell you that you have many more senses at your disposal with which you can experience all that surrounds you. Your senses are various brain structures and neural cells throughout your body and brain. Your surroundings are different than you commonly believe them to be and are not only outside of yourself. You are surrounded by your brain. You sense things that your brain is doing. Your brain is made up of billions of neural cells, and that is all. These cells are either on or off. This may sound simple, but when you are amongst billions of cells that are either on or off, the patterns that they create and bring to your attention can be very overwhelming, as you may know. Your brain senses itself in addition to many other aspects of this universe. This is where you are. Imagine that you are a point of light, just a point, as small as you can make it. Your brain is like a galaxy. The only difference between it and a real galaxy, like the one we live in, is that you have the ability to go wherever you like, whenever you like. Of course, you already do that now. You can imagine anything. You can fly in there. You can go from your childhood to being inside of a dirty diaper, to the top of the Eiffel Tower, to your friend's basement, to the pain and suffering that was put upon you at an early age, to what you are reading right now, and what it means to other galaxies as you imagine them, then to your hunger and your urge to go to the restroom. You can visit your basic functions that your brain takes care of while you're gallivanting around in your head, like your breathing and heart rate. Then take back control of them for a while and make sure that your brain is doing its job properly. Your brain uses your body to go where it feels it must. Your body is very limited compared to you, the awareness within it. You can sit or stand there inside your brain and change all the beliefs that you notice have gone unchecked for so long. You see that it delivers ideas to your awareness. The brain can be very overwhelming with its billions of points, and you may find that you gave up a long time ago trying to tell it differently, especially when all those around you continue to pound you with the same ideas that you are trying to change. I tell you all of this so that you may cease being a victim of a very powerful brain, and that you can take back control because you exist. Again, as you sit in your brain and watch thoughts, beliefs, values, morals, ethics go by, you are none of those thoughts because you are watching them. They cannot be you because 1 equals not 0. That means that you are not what you experience. You are an awareness of everything that you experience. In this system, an awareness is the only thing that you can admit you are. That is where identifying yourself becomes a paradox. People ask you who you are, and you must respond with a bunch of patterns that are not you, but rather they are your experiences. For example, you usually find yourself saying that you are, for instance, your name. I am Matthew. Matthew comes to mean many things, like that I am a writer, philosopher, a poet, a prophet, an athlete, a student, a teacher, an animal, a salesman, a driver, a psychologist, a musician, a lover, a father, an adult, a child, a smoker, that I am black and white at the same time, a New Zealander, an American, a transplanted African, a linguist, a pool player extraordinaire, a coffee drinker, human, the sun because I eat it, and the dirt, what I eat, a messenger, a professional, a businessman, a racquetball player, a tennis and soccer player, a coach, a fool, an orator, public speaker, a politician, a skier, a climber of mountains, a victim of abuse, and a carpenter. I am none of these things. I am an awareness that perceives all of these things and chooses to do them or accept them as energetic patterns within me. I am not Matthew. Matthew is a name. I am aware of the name that others gave to me. I can choose to say to you that Matthew Winfield is an embodiment of all that I do and has been done to me, but I am not what I do. I am not what has been done to me, nor am I the things that I think. I am merely an awareness of them. This is what life is. It is an experience of itself. I am the universe experiencing itself, and so are you as you experience the patterns that I present to you. Please doubt all that you have told yourself, for you will find that you are much less than you ever imagined, surrounded by all that you have imagined. Your brain is a battleground until you have navigated it extensively and discovered that you are not it, and that you control it and not the other way around. Most of us operate on instinct much of the time. This should be obvious when we look at the differences between men and women, which I will not get into now, but rather let you stew over the idea that there are differences. There is plenty out there for you to understand about all that. I will mention quickly that those differences have been blown completely out of proportion, and the human race continues to try to balance our positions. You did not ask to be born. You are not responsible for being born. You did not ask to be any of the things that you identify with. You were born into a circumstance that has shaped everything that you have come to understand. You did not choose the body that you were born into. Your body is not you, as you may come to understand when you lose your members, still to come. You did not request the beliefs that you hold on to so dearly. During this life, you may accept all that is put upon you, or you may want to go out and figure out what is really happening, like you're doing now. This life occurs at this moment. I put all of this to you because it saddens me to see people passing and not realizing all that they're capable of. All too often, people pass without knowing that they are not themselves as they have perceived themselves, and that they are merely accepting perceptions as being themselves. As you label yourself and continue to tell yourself that you are your perceptions, you limit your own awareness of everything else that you could be aware of. In not so many words, this puts a very big damper on your existence, if I may say so. I know that you understand all of this. I also know that you choose to do nothing about it. That is why I feel such obligation to point it out. Other people have pointed it out. You have not heeded their advice, so we just keep trying. This tenet is to point out that this is your one chance to live, to be aware of you and all that surrounds you. This you can rely on. Everything else is your imagination compensating for a life that you do not understand. unless you do. This life is what you are experiencing, and you have never known any other life so clearly. You can never understand yourself completely, but you can come very close or utterly fail and flail until it is over. You are fortunate to exist. You are unfortunate to exist in your current circumstance unless you are not. I say this because people often disagree with me regarding their fortune and say that their life is horrible. I know it is not easy to change your circumstances. It is not easy to move away from all that you know, but I believe that we can eventually. That is why I write these words with the hopes that the entire world will listen, and all together through the years we may be able to alleviate the pain and suffering that we put each other through needlessly. If you do not know what I am talking about, go out in society and take a good look with your brain. Ask people why they feel the need to hurt each other in these ridiculous ways. Ask people why they hurt you. Ask yourself why you hurt others to make yourself feel better and powerful. Being the universe is power enough for any of us. This is partially why I have taken so long to say anything. I do not want to hurt you, and yet I know the pain that comes from change. I now understand that it is natural. Change in mental existence causes pain when one must lose something that they have cherished for so long. Unfortunately, most of what we have cherished has brought much more pain than this book or I could ever bring. I feel that if this is accepted, then we will go through many more toils as we begin to lose false beliefs that used to seem so real. In the long run, we will truly love one another as I love you, and you love yourself as the universe aware of itself.